Hello and welcome to HCAM's 2016 Selectmen Forum. I'm Joe Catalano from Quincy Access Television. I'll be your moderator for this forum. Now, to begin with, this forum was offered to all three candidates running for the open one-year Selectman seat. The format, the rules, and the dates were all selected and agreed upon by all three candidates a few weeks ago. Unfortunately, two of the candidates, Mike Eschner and Dan Lee, chose to withdraw from the forum earlier this week. With respect, the decision made by those candidates, we respect that, but we needed to allow the remaining candidates, Kevin Costa, the opportunity to participate in this forum as planned. It's important to note that the preceding forum will be conducted as agreed upon previously by all three candidates. Now, the format for today's forum will be as follows. There'll be a 60-second opening statement followed by 13 questions. The questions were developed using input from residents of Holbrook. Answers to the questions will be kept to 60 seconds or less. And finally, we'll end with a 90-second closing statement. Now, each of the segments will be timed right here in studio by a stopwatch. And if need be, Mr. Costa, I will cut off the responses when the allotted time has expired. Now, this Selectmen's race is part of the upcoming Holbrook Town election. It'll take place Tuesday, April the 5th. All precincts will be voting at the junior-senior high school. The polls that day will be open from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. Time right now to begin our forum. And this time I'd like to welcome candidate Kevin Costa for the one-year Selectman seat to the forum. Mr. Costa, welcome, and please, if you will, your opening statements.
Well, thank you. I want to thank HCAM for hosting this event. I think that it's very important to have a forum like this where the candidates can come and answer questions from the public and address the public on what the issues are of the day. I want to thank Joe for coming and moderating this debate or forum. I think that it being an impartial body, I think, is very important. I myself, my name is Kevin Costa. I moved to Holbrook in 2003 with my wife, Maria Costa, and we have three wonderful children, Samantha, Michaela, and Nathan. I've been very active in town, been on the Finance Committee for 10 years, been the chairman of the Finance Committee for the last 8 years, served on the Government Study Committee, we're parishioners at St. Joe's. And I'm currently the inventory control manager and buyer at National Lumber in Mansfield, Massachusetts, a position I've held for the last 14 years. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Costa. We'll begin with our line of questioning now. And the first question, why do you want to run and hold this office?
Well, I think that my skill set is a great asset to the town, and I think that it will help the Board of Selectmen and complement the existing Board of Selectmen greatly. My financial knowledge, my expertise when it comes to organizational structure of town government are great assets. I know how to negotiate deals. I think that I will be very effective at ensuring that the Holbrook taxpayers are always at the front of every discussion that is had. I know that I will be a strong leader for all of the citizens of Holbrook to ensure that we have growth where needed, positive growth, and ensure that the right value for our taxes is being always endured. Thank you.
Thank you. Next question. Do you have any specific changes that you'd like to make in town during your time in office? And what aspects of Holbrook do you think are positives that you would not want to change or see altered?
Well, I want to take the second half of that first, though, the positive part. I think there's very many positives. One positive that I like to point out is our small town. We are a community. We really are. We're not a big town. We're not a big community. We're small. We care for each other. We take care of each other. We're there when we need us, whether it's up at the ball field or in the schools or out at social events, or even just in the streets. Some of our other great assets, we have a great town forest and a great Lake Holbrook that I think are natural resources that we need to greater utilize in this town. Some things that I think we can change. Need to change some culture around growth. We need growth in this town, and I will work with the elected officials as well as those in town hall to ensure that positive growth is happening, that when somebody wants to do something, that we find ways to make it happen. We need growth in this town, and I'm a big believer in making it happen from a culture standpoint to whatever else I can do. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, recent conversation, as you're aware, on the Permanent School Building Committee and the school committee meetings have revolved around maintenance of the new school and who should oversee the maintenance plan. Do you feel that the town should supersede the school committee in oversight of this issue?
Our infrastructure has been an issue for us for many years. We've invested significant amount of money in a public safety building just about 10 years ago. We've invested over $1 million recently within our town hall, as well as our library and council on aging. And all of our infrastructure, we need professionals managing that infrastructure. Right now, we have an instance recently with the finance committee that we have the library director who has a master's in library science, but is trying to manage an HVAC problem. That to me doesn't make too much sense. And I think that what we need to do is pool our resources with the schools and have a town-wide facilities management department that oversees all of the facilities within the town, both school and town, to ensure that they're being managed the most efficient and best way, and allow our department heads to do what their skill sets and their job descriptions really require them to do. Thank you.
What role should the selectmen play in the oversight of the school system, if any?
Well, statutorily, the Board of Selectmen have no oversight over the school committee and over the schools themselves. The only thing that is allowed within the statute is for the town administrator to participate within the negotiations and the final vote of any collective bargaining agreements. And I would look to ensure that our town administrator, as being the Board of Selectmen, would be participating in those negotiations and voting at the collective bargaining contracts. That is the only voice that the municipal side has in any collective bargaining agreement within the school department. And it is imperative that the municipal side partake within that discussion to ensure that it is both fair and equal on both sides of the government, both the schools and municipal side, when it comes to collective bargaining agreements.
Thank you, Mr. Costa. We will take a quick break here. You're watching HCAM's 2016 Selectmen Forum. Please stay tuned. We'll be right back.
This is a drug-free zone.
Be a part of the solution, not the problem.
Drugs are bullies. They hurt you every day.
I have a dream that Holbrook will be drug-free, and it starts with me.
Bulldogs don't take drugs. Ever. Drugs kill your brain cells and fry your brains. The more you take, the less you know.
Talk to your kids about prescription drug abuse. We are not too young.
The class of 2021 has taken a pledge to remain drug-free. We want to stop drug addiction, drug use, and drug abuse in its tracks.
Drugs don't give you your best dreams. They give you your worst nightmares. I pledge my best effort to remain drug and alcohol free.
Welcome back, and thanks for tuning in to the HCAM 2016 Selectmen Forum with Selectmen candidate Kevin Costa here in studio. Mr. Costa, we'll continue with our questions. And the next one is, what should the focus of the town of Holbrook heading into the next 3 to 5 years be?
Growth would be my biggest thing. Growth, we've made a significant investment in our school facility, going to be close to a $100 million project when all is said and done. That in and of itself drives other growth within the town. We need to look to business growth, residential growth. We need additional housing within this town. We need a greater density within the housing. Right now, we don't have enough apartments, condos, and move-up homes. We have a good job at starter homes and a good job at higher-end homes, but we don't have a place for all those people that came to Holbrook and started a family that want to move up into something else to move into. And we need growth within this town. We need to change our zoning to allow greater growth, and we need to work with our planning board to develop a master plan for the town that can really bring us into the next 20 and 50 years. Thank you.
Given the large senior citizen population here in town, how do you propose to avoid taxing lifelong residents out of their homes?
That's a very serious issue, and I believe that there are currently 3 avenues that are available to seniors that are being very underutilized and not communicated well enough. I think one is the senior state income tax credit that's available, but in order to get that, seniors have to file a state income tax. So they need to understand that even if they don't have income, they should be filing state income tax because they can qualify for up to $1,100 in credit, which is actual money back, not a deduction, actual credit that would come back to them. So I would work with our Council on Aging to make sure that that information gets out to all of our seniors, as well as there are things at the town level that we're able to do. One is the Senior Work-Off Program, which we had instituted about a decade ago, as well as there are abatements that the town is able to implement. I would look to review those and find out if they're being utilized, if they need to be expanded, and would put votes before town meeting that would do that in those instances. Thank you.
Thank you. Next question. What is your position on door-to-door solicitation in town? Will you continue to support the current ban that's in place, or would you look to allow it in the future?
I know this is going to be an unfavorable position, but the Supreme Court has ruled that we cannot ban door-to-door sales. And by doing it, we are actually opening ourselves up to litigation and liability with treble damages. So what I would look to do is to rework our existing bylaw to make it stronger and to comply with the the Supreme Court ruling and the Constitution of the United States, but also add requirements that require to check in at the police department, to be background checked by the police department, to ensure that our streets remain safe while complying with the Constitution of the United States.
Thank you. Some believe that Holbrook's Town Hall is behind the times in terms of technology and accessibility. How can that be changed?
Well, generally I would agree with them. We've done very little to invest within our technology at Town Hall, and when we have invested, I don't think we've done enough training to really implement it properly. So one thing that I would look to do is add the human resource function to our Town Hall and to our municipal side of government. Because I think that the key is that if we can get people to understand what their job function is, what their responsibilities are, and then review them on those job functions and how they're performing, as well as then provide additional training where they need it, that is going to be a key to how do we actually use our investment, our technology to its fullest extent. So that would be a focus that I would have to both invest in technology, but then also ensure that we have the right people in place to ensure it's trained and used properly.
Thank you very much. We are going to take another quick break here on the Holbrook Selectmen 2016 Forum here on HCAM. We'll be back with more questions for Selectman candidate Kevin Costa right after this.
"26 people, including 6 adults and 26 and 7-year-old students, were shot and killed as classes in session inside."
2 pressure cooker bombs went off near the finish line of the 117th Boston Marathon, wounding more than...
A gunman opened fire with a semi-automatic weapon at Fort Hood in Texas, killing 3 people.
Militant group Boko Haram abducted 276 girls between the ages of 16. 2 suspects opened fire in San Bernardino, California at a holiday party in Inland Regional Center. The attack killed 14.
Smile, show your teeth, and love life. That is the best attack you can have on a terrorist group. When people see you, they should see hope, not tragedy.
We have partnered with the Generation on the Martin Richard Foundation to show the world that in response to this endless tragedy, we must be peaceful and kind.
We have great hope that we can spread the message of peace and tolerance, which will act as an inspiration to the Holbrook community and beyond. We take our inspiration from children who, like Martin Richard, were caught in the fallout of hate, conflict, and violence.
Bulldogs are building bridges in Holbrook and beyond. Please join us to help achieve Martin's dream.
Welcome back to the HCAM 2016 Selectmen Forum with Selectman candidate Kevin Costa. We continue our questioning now. Mr. Costa, what is your stance on the opioid forgiveness program that the town is beginning to run by the town/police department?
This is an issue that touches close to home, as I have a very close friend who has suffered from addiction for several years. Fortunately, at this moment in time, he's in treatment and doing very well. But this is a disease, and it needs to be treated as a disease. And those that are suffering this disease need access to all kinds of programs. And I believe that this program is a good start to offering that, to allowing people to come forward and try and get the help that they need. This is a difficult problem for all families that have this disease. And I want to work with those families and with Holbrook Cares, which is a great organization that started in town that is trying to cause change to happen. But I will also work with our police department to ensure that they are doing everything they can to ensure that the dealers are not affecting our streets and locking those people up who are violating the law by dealing the drugs. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next question, what is your view on the trash transfer station project?
Well, I was in favor of that project when it first was signed, when the agreement was signed by the Board of Selectmen, and I'm still in favor of that project. As I mentioned earlier, I'm in favor of positive growth, and I believe that that project is very well suited for that site. One of the great advantages that Holbrook has is we have rail, and rail is very advantageous to certain types of businesses, especially distribution type businesses and businesses like that where basically they're into distribution of trash, taking it from one area and moving it to another area. I think that we need to look to all kinds of projects like that to expand where those projects can go, or positive economic, not necessarily projects specific to that, but other economic projects in town. Us and Avon are one of the only towns on the South Shore that are not part of an economic impact area. I would look to improve that so that we access additional state resources to grow our economic development within town.
Thank you. Where do you stand on the issue of Holbrook's future water supply? Do you feel that the town should pursue MWRA or stay with the Tri-County?
Well, right now, the deal that's on the table with Tri-County would have us paying more than our fair share to construct a water treatment plant. I do not support Holbrook citizens any longer paying more than their fair share for their water. For over 100 years, we've been paying more than our fair share with the town of Randolph when we split the cost 50-50. I cannot support, as a member of the Finance Committee, nor if I'm elected as a member of the Board of Selectmen, a project which would pay more than our fair share. So at this time, I would be in favor of the MWRA without something changing on the Tri-Town water treatment plant. Thank you.
Thank you. Next question, how do you think Town Hall should better communicate with the residents of the town of Holbrook?
That's a problem that every business faces today. How do you communicate with your customers? And we have to continue to evolve. We can't rely on the old newspaper. They're still around, but not as many people read them, unfortunately. So we need to use additional resources. I know we've begun recently a Facebook page. I would look to augment that, use it more, use it by more departments than are using it today. Use HCAM, which is a great resource for us to continue to get information out. Use our website. I believe that we invested in our website several years ago, but we didn't get really the proper training and have the right people in place to actually fully utilize that great resource. So I would look to augment that, bring in additional training, and then be open to any other way that people want to get their information. We need to be at the forefront of we need to be getting the information to the people, not requiring them to come and get it. Thank you.
Thank you. And finally, you mentioned HCAM. Being a forum hosted here by HCAM, your local community access and media center, what are your thoughts on the role of community media in the town of Holbrook?
Well, as everything gets hyper-local, community media plays a more and more important role. And hosting events like this are vital to our town. They video, I know they almost all of the meetings that happen at Town Hall, the school committee. You know, we're a veteran community. We're a community of blue-collar workers that work off hours, that can't attend meetings, have families, can't get out to events. And HCAM provides a very vital resource to inform the public at their time about what's happening in town and what they can participate in. So I think HCAM plays a key role. They need more volunteers. So if you're out there and you want to learn about, if you're interested in media, come on down and I'm sure they can find a place for you here at HCAM. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm sure they appreciate that as well. That does conclude our question and answer portion of today's Selectmen Candidate Forum. We will take another quick break. Be back for Mr. Costa's closing statement in just 1 minute. Welcome back to HCAM's 2016 Selectmen Forum with Selectmen candidate Kevin Costa, who is here now to bring you his closing statement for today's program. Mr. Costa, you have 90 seconds.
I didn't go to school in Holbrook. I didn't grow up here, but I've been here for 13 years now. I'm passionate about Holbrook. I care about Holbrook. I care about what happens today, tomorrow, and the future. I've decided to raise my family here in Holbrook. I've been involved with the Finance Committee for 10 years, been on town meeting member for the past 12 years. I've shown that I care about Holbrook. Out of 400 scheduled meetings on the committees that I've been on, I've missed less than 10. I show that I will show up for meetings. I will show up for forums. I will show up to speak to the residents. I will listen. I will take feedback. I care about Holbrook. I care about the taxpayers of Holbrook. I care about the quality of life of the residents of Holbrook. I will never enter negotiation without the Holbrook taxpayer at the front of my mind. I will make sure that every deal that is entered into is right for the residents today and tomorrow. I will ensure that the taxpayer and the taxes are kept within reason and that the value for those taxes is proper. I ask for your vote for me, Kevin Costa, on Tuesday, April 5th, for Board of Selectmen. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Costa, and thanks for participating in today's forum. And thank you at home for watching as well. Thank you very much to the crew and staff here at HCAM who have helped to put on today's forum. Thanks to the volunteers as well who have donated their time to help bring you this program. Don't forget the Get Out the Vote Junior Senior High School Day here in Holbrook is Tuesday, April the 5th. Polls are open from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. Thank you very much for tuning in. I'm Joe Catalano. Have a good day.